then he kind of, yeah, and then I think it was like late 2017. He had known that I had a little bit of a background with camera and making videos, from skateboarding. And he was like, hey, could you help me out a little bit? I was like, yeah. And that's how I kind of started, helping out with him here. But yeah, I've been full time since 2019, still doing it. But because of me, I'm not one of those guys. I'm just kind of there tagging along with my camera. But getting to compete there this year was really cool. And I think it's cool that Rich takes time out of his day, to come there to like a local competition in Texas and do stuff like that. He does stuff, a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, it is really cool. I got to come be a part of that.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Carter Hall, and this is another great episode of the Carter Hall podcast. With me today, I have Ben Davidson. Ben, you're a big up-and-coming name in the CrossFit space, man. And you've been doing it for years and years, and I'm so thankful for you to make the time on to do this, man.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, so of course, we've been talking off air, like through Instagram and on stuff like that. Just I'm like, this is so cool, like because you came through my hometown. I've had Scott Vandersloot. I said off air, I said I had Scott Vandersloot on the podcast, and y'all came to Amarillo, and you and Seth and all these different people came through Amarillo, and did the 806 Classic, and we had a lot of fun up there, man. It was pretty cool to see y'all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, anyway, that was I think that's the first time I competed in it, but I think I've went there before to, help film. And dude, that is such a cool event. And I don't know if this was the first year at that venue, but man, everything about it was so cool. Energy was cool and the people there were cool and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun for sure because I was at first like it was the first time at that venue, and they did it years past that are like at the time I was at that gym, the affiliate that hosted it. I'm at a different gym now, but at the time, like that was our first affiliate. Like that's the first time at that venue, so be able to come out, just obviously we had years past, we had the Feed Club Love event and stuff like that, and fun, all that different fun. So just for y'all to come out, I'm like, this is pretty cool, man, to see something like this and see Mayhem and Mayhem crew in person. So that's pretty interesting because, like you said, just a like a normal gym goer, if you will. They have like people come in, like Rich Froning come in, or all the new guys. They're not new guys, but just guys they don't see on the daily, like see compete. And, like I guess it has that little bit of extra motivation, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I mean, yeah, I mean, and Rich is such a good dude. I think it's really cool that like again, I'm honored like you have me on here and like you came and you talked to me and you kind of put me in that category as one of those guys. But because of me, I'm not one of those guys. I'm just kind of there tagging along with my camera. But getting to compete there this year was really cool, and I think it's cool that Rich takes time out of his day, to come there to like a local competition in Texas and do stuff like that. He does stuff, a lot of stuff like that. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, it is really cool. I got to come be a part of that.
Yeah, man. So just like you were, are you still involved with the media department? I know you said you were doing the podcast, but are you still like pretty heavily involved with that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm full time here. I went full time in media. I think 2019, and before that, I'd help Dre out. Dre, he was previously like he was full time media. Actually, he did a little bit of everything, but he was primarily over the media.
Oh,
And then
really?
he kind of yeah, and then I think it was like late 2017. He had known that I had a little bit of a background with camera and making videos, from skateboarding, and he was like, "Hey, could you help me out a little bit?" I was like, "Yeah," and that's how I kind of started, helping out with him here. But yeah, I've been full time since 2019, still doing it, and they call me the Swiss Army knife because I'm not like I just help out with like a little bit of everything. Like I do a lot of podcast stuff, like tag along with that. Um, I do like the weekly vlogs or shoot for the long form stuff like the documentaries or whatever. Do photos, do all the mayhem hunt stuff, the videos, the full workouts, thumbnail designed. We all kind of it's cool. It's like CrossFit. There's shared suffering. We all just kind of we're all kind of Swiss Army knives, I guess, really. But yeah, it's cool and it's a really cool team to be a part of.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're right. It's got to be a Swiss Army knife, right? I mean, that's what I saw. This is from my point of view. This is what I saw. Like, got to know a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's good to be able to do everything too, because like like just today, Frank was so I do the programming videos. I put those on the back end for through SugarWOD. So like when you go on SugarWOD, the Mayhem
Okay.
app, we have videos, gives you the breakdown of the workout of the day. I do those for Mayhem Hunt. And just today, Frank, he had his and he just on his own, he was like, "Hey, could you show me how you do those? So just in case you're out, I could just hop in and do those." And I was like, "Heck yeah!" It's just yeah, it's good. It's good. It's always good to know a little bit of everything. I feel like
Yeah, you're constantly. I think it's always cool, like whether it's media or CrossFit or whatever. It's just cool, like to be in an environment you can constantly grow in, like learn something from somebody. Just have that
yeah,
capability. I think CrossFit is a lot like that too. Just hey, like if you don't know like this or that, because like recently we at the gym I was at, there's a girl that was like, "Hey, this is my second CrossFit class. What's an EMOM?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's 'cause I've been doing it since 2019." I'm like, it's one of those things you kind of take for granted, I guess a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, it's this. It's like having to describe
yeah,
like what an EMOM is, and it's pretty cool. That kind of relates over, I think, to media too quite a bit. Obviously, I think, but I could be
oh yeah,
wrong.
yeah. How long have you been doing media for?
So, gosh, I graduated from college in 20 May 2022, but obviously years before then, so probably 2016, 17. So I kind of make stuff here and there, and
Yeah,
podcast is kind of like my little side gig I do. But been doing it since a podcast since 2021 now. But yeah, I've been doing that for a while now.
that's cool, man. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah. I started it just for fun, and I was a college student, and I was like, man, I want to do this for fun and just see how it goes. And you know how the first episode it always goes, or at least in my eyes, it was always awful. Because like it was an audio only podcast. I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
what I want to talk about. I don't know what to talk about. But I was like, let's go in and have fun with it. And then editing it, I was like, I hate the sound of my voice. It sounds a lot more
hmm
different than I expected. And then because I was also on the radio, I'm sorry to hijack your time. This is not my podcast, this is yours, but I was like, man, I was a part of the radio station at the college I was at, and I had a friend talk me into doing that and started a podcast. I was like, let's do this. Let's see how it goes. And then kind of did my own thing, from there on out.
yeah. So you know the grind very well.
Sorry to say what?
You know the grind very well. The grind of
Oh yeah.
just figuring it out, learning, go learn as you go,
Oh yeah.
and
Heck yeah.
yeah,
That was one of those things where you're just like having to set up and very, very bare bones, if you will, just like going in with a microphone, renting microphone because I didn't have my equipment. I didn't have any equipment like a mic or a audio interface. You can't see it right now, but an audio interface, an XLR cord, all the stuff that
yeah,
goes into it. I'm like, I don't have any of this. Where do I go? And then having the YouTube,
yeah.
all that, yeah, you know how it goes, like that grind. Like you said, the grind of everything.
Oh yeah, dude. The Rich Froning podcast. I remember. I didn't know anything about audio. Like I knew, coming in, I just knew like recording video and editing it.
Oh
But
yeah.
Dre, when he was kind of stepping out, he was going more towards apparel. He was like, "Hey, you need to learn this podcast. You're going to take it over." And I was like, "Okay." So I remember we walked in the room first time, and like I saw the interface, the amplifier, the
Oh
XLR
yeah.
cables going to the cloud converters, going to the mics, and I was like, it looked like just like foreign like technology, just like I don't know. I could not wrap my head around it. And he like walks me on the computer. He's like, "So you're gonna open this program called Adobe Audition."
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he's like, "Start your project here, do this, hook up your mics." And he would just show me that, and like I had no education on what any equipment was. I didn't know what it's supposed to sound like, didn't know, where anything's supposed to be plugged in. And it was so overwhelming. It was so much to learn. But it's like you kind of figure it out as you go. And then even editing the audio, like now we use just like a roadcaster board. And I don't know if you're familiar with those, but it just
Yeah.
mixes the audio automatically. Like you don't have to add like uh oh man, what all the effects on the audio. Like you take out
Uh-huh.
the humming, the buzzing, like in the audio, you set it for every
Clicking
track.
and all that.
Yeah, and then mixing it and putting it together. And like with the roadcaster, you don't have to do that. It's just like it's clean cut, ready to go. It gets rid of that as you record it. So
Mhm.
nice. But like I'm glad I got to learn that. I'm glad like I know how to do that now if I had to. But yeah, dude, I mean, gosh, audio is a whole different ball game.
It is. It's it's kind of its own little, like you said, it's its own little like it's beast in a way because like having to make sure like edit when I was doing it like when I first started, I was just editing like how like what sound like I didn't know what sounded good. Like it sounds good to me, but how it's gonna sound when it goes out to people because what sounds good to one person may not sound great to another person. And obviously, like doing a podcast, you want to make sure like you have what everything sounds good, you have the right topics, blah 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 blah. It's just it's yeah, it can get overwhelming initially. And thankfully, I
Yeah,
had friends who knew better. I had a friend, buddy Isaiah, who thankfully was like an walking encyclopedia because he like I'm like, hey Isaiah, blah 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 blah. He's like, oh yeah, that's simple. Like what was like he made it look so simple. Deal. I'm like, I don't know, like as a communications major, they look foreign to me too. So like it can get overwhelming.
yeah, oh yeah, they sure can. And it still does sometimes,
Yeah.
it still does.
So are you still like were you always a media guy? Like were you like initially like with Mayhem or did you that something like I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but like were you like when did you get into media?
Yeah, I think I mentioned, I can't remember if it was before recorded or not, but so I skateboarded, in high school, and what the cool thing to do when you're a skateboarder was to film, you and your buddies skateboarding, and then you make edits with it. And actually, I wasn't even like in our little friend group, there was a guy who's a lot better, Jason. And the videos are still on YouTube. You can look them up. If you just type my name, like Ben Davidson, Cookeville skateboarding, it'll actually pull up his channel before mine. But he was really good. But that was the cool thing you did was you made videos and you put them out, and that was like kind of like the obsession with it was like you wanted to go out and skate and get good so you could record it so you could make a really cool video and show it off. And so that's where I kind of first got into it. I think I got a camcorder when I was I think after my 15th birthday, I got a Sony Handycam, and actually I still have it, and we still like
Oh
mess
wow.
around and record on it all the time. It shoots in like 480p, and I've got a baby death lens fisheye lens on it because that was the
Oh
cool thing of
yeah.
skateboarding.
Fest
Um,
Islands,
and
yeah.
I still have that too. But and then and back then the cool editor was Sony Vegas Pro,
Hmm.
and couldn't afford it. It was a couple $100s, but there was a way you could like patch it, you could still it and put it on your computer. And that was what I did. That's what I edited videos with. And I was not good. Like I was not good at all. But I knew the process. I knew how it worked. I knew
Hmm.
you had to move, memory card to computer to bring in the software to editing, exporting, uploading. So I knew all that. And yeah, and then I started Mayhem. I started working out here in uh 2015. It was like December 2015, January 2016 is when I started. And Dre was probably my first friend I made here. Like Angela was my friend before coming to Mayhem. That was what got me here. But Dre was the first person I met here that became my buddy. And he knew I skateboarded and I liked it. And then college, I had to make a couple of videos for some projects for stuff I was in. But but then yeah, and then in 2017, he asked me if I could help him. And basically he was taking on so much. Like he had apparel, he had social media, he had the media stuff, and uh and he was also competing. He was trying to compete, and it was like so I just helped him. So he would give me some footage, and I tried to make a video for him. And I started editing the Mayhem Mondays, and then I started going on trips. Like he'd send me on trips he couldn't go to. Like I went to Iceland in 2019 with Independence, and then I went to Strength and Depth in London
Oh
in
yeah.
2019, and then it was just right after that. It was like I went full time media because he had to take a step away, and then when I went full time here, we were doing. It was actually really overwhelming for me too because, like I said, I didn't have I didn't go to school for like video editing or like I was going to school for turning into graphic design, but that was
Oh yeah.
later on,
Hmm.
So everything I learned was completely self-taught or like Dre would kind of taught me a little bit, but really I'd say when I really got to where I'm doing what I'm doing now was when Scott came here. Um, Scott
Oh
was
yeah.
like, you talk to him, he's
Yeah.
so good and he's so passionate about it. His background is really good with it.
Sure.
And it's like when Scott got here, like I'd be editing a video and he'd say, "Hey, why are you doing it like that?" And I would be like, "Well, this is just what I was taught." And he'd be like, "Oh, this is so much easier." And he'd just show me something so simple, and it would take like it would take me 2 hours. Now it's taking me 20 minutes.
Oh
So
yeah.
he taught me so much, and like everything I'm doing now. it's like he's really helped float and get the streamline going for, you know. But so yeah, 2019 full-time media. But actually, one thing I forgot to mention was during COVID, I started I started screen printing T-shirts here for
Oh,
the gym,
really?
and I was doing media part time, but I was also screen printing, and we got started that because
That's really
Dre, like
cool.
I said, he was doing, yeah, he was cool. I loved it. He was doing he was, you know, he was in charge of the apparel designing it, and it was so much money to have us get the t-shirts printed. You know, by the time we got that all done, they were making money obviously, but like it could be better if we were making the t-shirts. And so Dre was like, "Hey, just look into it." So I looked into it, we figured it out, and it was like saved a lot of money. And I did it for a few months. But the problem was we grew so much in 2020, Mayhem did, that I couldn't keep up with the production, and I can only do like one color designs, you know, so stuff like the
Okay.
multicolor, I couldn't do that. And so it was like we kind of quit doing that. And then that was when I went, you know, more full-time media after
Okay.
that.
So you're kind of just like doing a lot, like you said, the Swiss Army knife mentality was still going on at that point. Like you said, like you're starting doing all this and that. So kind of go back like a couple paragraphs a little bit. So you said that you're kind of like doing like your own filming for skateboarding and anything like that in the early days. Were
Hmm.
you was CrossFit at all like on your radar at that point, or were you like how can I say this? Were you working out to do cross or how can I say this? Were you doing CrossFit to skateboard or anything like that? Or was this
Oh,
primarily
yeah.
skateboarding?
I should have. I probably should have. But no. Dude, no. You know what's funny is so I had a group of friends. I'm still good friends with them now. But so when we were in high school, they started this thing called Fit Club, and they decided to join it. And it was a CrossFit class, and it's put on,
Oh
it's still
wow.
there actually here at Cookeville High School. It's put on by Jordan Webb. You know, he's a good buddy of Rich's. You probably maybe seen him some videos if you keep up with that. But yeah, he went on Fit Club, and I wasn't in Fit Club that. No, I never joined Fit Club, but they did it right.
Oh wow.
And I remember I was skateboarding, and they'd be like, well, "We're gonna stay after go Fit Club," and I'd be thinking, "Oh, that's lame." But you know, and then the first time I ever even heard them mention anybody mention Rich or that CrossFit was they were in a group. We were all in a group chat, and they said, "Hey, we're LTAP, and that fittest guy's behind us." And this is in the year 20. This was in 2012, I think.
Wow.
And they were like he's the fittest guy or something. And I remember that was the first time I ever because I remember thinking fittest man on earth, you know, in Cookeville, and so I vividly remember that. And then what's also funny is didn't do CrossFit, didn't even know what it was. And then in 2014 was senior year of high school, I started PE2 that year because I had to have a fill of credit, and I'd already took PE1. And so PE2 came around, and I was like, well, yeah, I could work out, you know, I probably should. And I had a buddy in there, and he introduced me to Olympic weightlifting. And and dude, I loved it. And at this point, you know, I kind of knew what CrossFit was a little bit just from, you know, the same friends I told you about, and my other
Hmm.
buddy Jake Cobb, he does CrossFit, and I knew about it. So I wasn't totally like in the dark on it at this point, but I just didn't really know what it was, you know. And then,
Yeah.
like I said, started only lifting in 2014, in that class with my buddy Zach, and loved it, and did a Ole meet that year, and then graduated high school. Well,
Hmm.
over the summer, I ended up gaining like 20 pounds because
Yeah.
I was working at Cheddar's, and I was also working at a wedding venue. And through the week, I was a server there, and so I was just working. I wasn't being, you know, wasn't being active, wasn't doing anything, and then I was eating the food there. Like, you know, I'd eat a buffalo wrap like every day that I was working. You know, just so eating really
Yeah.
poorly. And then freshman year of college rolled around, and I remember that Christmas. I was like just tired of being like, you know, heavier than I was used to. And I told mom, I was like, hey, I want a membership. And Mayhem had a 7 o'clock class, which worked with my school schedule. And so I joined it. And that's how I got into Mayhem. And, you know, it's also about the time I quit skateboarding. So I wasn't, no, I wasn't doing CrossFit like for skateboarding, you know. And it's just like one of those things. Like I love skateboarding. I still love it. And I think it's a great background to have. You know, it develops athleticism, and you know you jump, and I think it makes you tough because you fall a lot and you learn how to
Oh yeah.
fall. And so I was doing that up until I graduated high school, I'd say. And then, you know, everybody starts college. We all started college, kind of went our own ways, and we're all working a lot. So it's just kind of didn't really happen anymore, you know. But
Oh yeah.
and then yeah, CrossFit kind of took over that like I don't want to say void, but like that was such a big part of my life because I really liked it, and there's probably a point I thought I could go pro skateboarding, which it's kind of funny to say now, but I that's what I did it for. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be a pro, but I quit doing it, and then picked up CrossFit, and then I think that kind of took. But it was definitely a better use of my time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we sounds kind of similar in the sense of like, for me, going to school, getting that freshman 20, like I'm like of like going to class, not working out, and just like, you got a lot more free time on your hands than you did in high school. So it's like, what do I got to do with, what am I going to do with my
Yeah,
time? So like, I wasn't necessarily the fit. Like, I'm not obviously you look at me now, I'm not super fit, but compared to then, like CrossFit, like wasn't. I knew of CrossFit a little bit 'cause through my brother. He's a little bit older than I am, and my brother Brandon, and he was a coach at the time at our home one of our first home gyms here at Tornado Alley. And my brother like never really like he tried to push me through community workouts, but I was so scared to go just like once a month
yeah,
even. I was like CrossFit scared me. So I'm like, I want to do CrossFit. Like what's a power clean? What's a burpee? Like all that stuff scared me. So there's no like so
yeah,
he finally talked me into doing it. It's like, hey, do you know who Rich Froning is, right? I'm like, yeah, like because I knew him just through watching videos and stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, it's like, he like he talks about like all this different stuff. Like he's coming to Amarillo. Like it was like back in the early days when he used to come, like initially. Like I think he came with Dan Bailey once and all these different people. So it's like,
yeah,
like he's coming to town. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. Like, you want to go watch him compete? I'm like, sure. So that's watching him
yeah,
a couple times. Like initially, I'm like, okay, now I'm hooked now. So I gotta start working out. In the summer of 20, I think 18, 19, I started working out, and I was like, dude, like this is pretty cool. I wish I would have done this much more earlier in high school, not
yeah.
later in college.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, I wish I'd started way earlier. And actually, and I'm thinking I missed an important part of that puzzle I just told you about. Angelo, Angelo is right.
Oh yeah,
So I took PE2 that first semester of high school, and my buddy's like, I'm into Ole lifting. But the second semester, Angelo was in my PE2 class,
yeah. Hmm.
and that would have been 2015. That was or 2014. That was right before he won the team CrossFit Games. That was the year.
Oh yeah,
That would have been around the Open that semester, and actually I remember like I'd go in there and I wasn't doing it right. Like I'd go in there, I'd snatch, like work up to a heavy, clean and jerk, work up to a heavy like every day, and then like and then depending on how I felt, I'd either back squat or front squat or uh, split jerk every day. It was every day. And then Angelo one day he was like, "Hey, you should try Fran." And I was like, "What's Fran?" And he told me what Fran was, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." 95 pounds, and so I did Fran. It took me like 10 minutes, dude. It was so bad. And then, but he would randomly do that, and then like next week he'd be like, "Hey, you should try 50 toes bar for time." And so I did it, and so I knew what like CrossFit was, mostly from him through him, my buddy Jake. I knew they did it, so I did do some CrossFit workouts. And there was a local CrossFit gym here too that at the time it was CrossFit Cumberland, and like Jake invited me there once. Sorry, I'm just now remembering all this, and I
Very good.
remember doing like a box jump and power clean workout. So I did know what CrossFit was a little bit back then, but yeah, I had to mention him because I gotta give credit where credit's due. Angelo is actually the one who um I actually really give credit to for getting me in here and like doing this. And
Yeah.
actually, what's cool is sorry, I'm kind of going off now. What's cool because
I,
he mentioned it earlier
I
in the
love it.
podcast was he so I kind of give him the credit for helping me get in here and doing this. But then it's cool now is my mom goes here
Oh
and it's
wow.
like and the community is like the popular thing right now. Like everybody's talking about like because it is communities like it's so important in CrossFit, so it's keeping it alive. I think
Yeah.
because
Sure.
the games is like kind of really went downhill, but and I think that if it was just the games, like CrossFit would be done. But it's the community that's really kept it afloat. It's keeping everything going because like it does work. CrossFit works and
Yeah.
always has worked and always will work.
For
So
sure.
what's cool is like Rich introduced CrossFit to Angelo, who introduced CrossFit to me, and like I introduced it to my mom. And so like, my mom comes here now. My sister comes here now. My nephew, he was coming. He comes every now and again, but like it's just so cool to me. Uh,
Hmm.
that just all the way from back then to now, like just through the grapevine, like all these people come here and like just doing CrossFit.
Yeah. You hit it perfectly because I think community is a beautiful thing. in the world of CrossFit because I think, like you said, just there's been times at the gym I'm at now, CrossFit Amarillo, where they like we just like last weekend, it was like we had perfect weather and we're like just the simple stuff like, hey, let's go play sand volleyball, something like that. Like it's just that, and then you go work out. It's like stuff like that. It's like little stuff like hey, or hey, let's do this, let's do that. It's like stuff like that that keeps like people wanting to come back and keep working out. It's like it makes it
Yeah.
less, makes it more fun, if you will, if that makes sense at all.
Oh yeah. And it sounds like kind of something similar, right? Like you said, you went and watched Rich work out, and you were
Mhm.
kind of new to it, and like that, and you still do it now, right? It's like,
Yeah, that was years
and
ago.
it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, and he all because he came to like your local gym and like your local community saw that, and like,
yeah.
so like that just kind of shows you like it does go hand in hand, but like
Mhm.
there has to be like some initiative from guys like on the top end to do stuff like that, or it's just not gonna like it's not gonna keep going.
Yeah,
So I think it's really cool. You kind of it feels like something similar. Sounds like
yeah. It is because like I said, just watching my brother Brandon having to go like he's like asking him like, hey, like it's literally a quick question like, hey, like because all the coaches at the time that he was coaching with at the time, like they're all going to watch him. He just, hey, do you want to go watch Rich? I'm like, Rich who? Rich Froning? Like, yeah. He's like, I don't know who's in town. They literally just something like that. Just he said the community aspect of like watching Rich compete and being motivated to like, okay, like you said, just that one little quick, just that one day of watching Rich. I'm like, okay, CrossFit's for me now. I want to try it.
yeah, yeah, heck yeah, so cool.
Yeah. And then I one of those things now, it's like that was probably 20, gosh, 17, 18. And that was like that summer or two later, I was like actually like working out full time, if you will. I say full
Yeah,
time loosely, if that makes sense. Like I'm
and I
not
know
gonna
what you mean. Yeah,
I'm
we
not
call it
gonna
we call it we call it
go.
the CrossFit bug around here. It's
Yeah.
like that's when you got the CrossFit bug, right? Like you wanted to keep doing it and keep going on with it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely I caught the bug for sure. Heavy.
Yeah,
So for you, was it kind of like a full circle moment? Like you said earlier, you said like you're in a group chat. Like you're so it sounds like you're from Cookeville originally, right?
yeah, yeah. I was born here.
Oh, cool. So was it kind of like a full circle moment? Like you said, like you were in a group text and you're like, "Hey, the fittest man behind is behind you," and you looked around, whatever. And now you're actually working for him. Is that like a crazy thing that you're like, I'm doing this media
Yeah,
now?
yeah. It is pretty crazy. I wonder what my buddies think about it. Because for them, it would probably be like so weird. But yeah. I mean, it's like and in Cookeville, um, uh, like it is a smaller town. So like Rich is, I think he's mentioned before, like he can go to the grocery store here and like maybe some people recognize him, some, but people aren't like ambushing him. But
Okay.
like when we went to Europe, dude couldn't walk. We couldn't walk 10 feet without someone stopping for a picture. It's like it's just not like that here. But yeah, I mean, all the way back in like 2012 to just to people were mentioning him on my phone to like now. Like I think of him as like one of my best friends. Like I think of him as like a lot of things, right? Like he's my boss. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's my boss. He pays me, my employer. But he's also like he's like my brother. He's like in some ways like like almost like father like sometimes with things, and like also like friend, like one of my best friends. Um, so yeah, it's really cool. And actually, what's funny too is his mom Janice and my mom, they worked together with Charlie's for like 20 years.
Oh wow.
Um, and so and I don't really remember him, but I think he said he does, and mom said that he was always there, but we were always like there together, like
Oh, wow.
it's just like something like your mom, like you're waiting on your mom to get done cleaning, so like you go in there and you hang out in the booth until they're done, you know. So like that's weird too for me because it's like, oh well, I've always been around him, didn't even know it, like.
Mhm.
And so and now here we are like 10 years later, literally over 10 years later, and I'm working for him. I see him every day. He's one of my best friends. And yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Like y'all have that little like background like history together and probably didn't like realize it until like that connection with your moms. It's like, oh yeah, we used to work together too. Like that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. 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 Didn't know it at all. Mom called him Richie too. She was like, she mentioned one time, she's like, have you seen Richie? And I'm like, what? I'm like, Rich? She's like, oh, sorry. We used to call him Richie. And like his mom calls him Richie. And I'm like, that's so weird. Like, that's weird that my mom like knows him at that level, or I thought it was weird at the time. Now it's just normal, but yeah, it's wild.
And since we're on the topic of Rich real quick, I want to bring up a quick thing and we can move on. But I saw a video not that long ago. I guess whenever the Open first started, I saw a video. Like Rich called you, I guess during the Open, Rich called you his frenemy. Because I
Oh
guess,
yeah.
so do you want to talk about that? Like, perhaps, like, you want to talk
Yeah,
about that?
yeah. Dude, they kind of CrossFit kind of set me up for that. It was Ian. And I like to talk trash. Like that's just what we do here. We all talk trash. Doesn't mean we can always back it up. I definitely can't back it up. But um yeah, like Rich was working on there or something and I was filming and Ian was filming me filming. And I was like, I went to him, I was like, what are you filming me for? Like, why are you filming? He was like, "Oh, Rich said you're his open frenemy," and I was like a little triggered by it, and I was like, "Oh, is that right?" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna be like, good. I should be his frenemy, because I'm gonna smash him in the open." And he starts laughing. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "Hang on," and he goes and puts the mic on my shirt, and he holds to the camera. He's like, "Okay, can you say it again?" And I was like, "The what? I'm gonna beat Rich Fromm in the open." He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Sure." He's like, "Look right in my lens." I was like, "I'm gonna beat Rich Fromm in the open." And so he kind of set me up a little bit. I did say that, but dude, I mean, I knew like that can't happen. I know it's not going to happen, but it's fun. It was fun to talk trash. And I mean, the fact I was his open friend of me, I'm like, why me? Like, why is he picking me?
Is it from this year's Open? Like this most recent Open we just had?
Yeah, yeah. And then I had a poor performance this year.
That's crazy. Like, I'm like, I saw the video on Instagram, I believe, and it was like I saw that. I'm like, that's so crazy. Like Ritz, like I don't know. I mean, y'all are both like at a high level, so I'm like, I don't know. We're both going against. Yeah, I cannot speak English. Speak it.
You're good.
So it's like the fact that y'all two are even like going against each other. I'm like, this is so cool. Then I hear Ritz say like, oh yeah, Ben Davidson is my enemy, my friend of you in the open. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, is there something going on? What's this? And then I'm like,
yeah.
I
No,
had to ask you.
yeah. He's just picking an easy target. That's all he was doing.
Was there one open workout this year that you liked more than the other, or did they all suck?
Um, their open workouts always they have a different kind of pain. It's so strange.
Mm,
But dude, I was really sick for that second week of the open.
mm.
The thruster, chest to bar, that one.
Oh yeah.
I was really looking forward to that one because we did it in 22, and I had what I thought was it was a decent, an okay time. And I was like, I've been doing a lot of thrusters lately. My gymnastics are better, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna smash that workout this time. And man, Friday I woke up and I was like, man, I do not feel good. And like I had a fever, my knees were like my joints were just aching, like when you have the flu, like everything was just hurting.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, man, I better do this workout today because I might be worse by the time Monday rolls around. So I did it and I didn't even beat my time. I think I was like over 30 seconds away from my time. But that workout, I really like that workout. I think if I was feeling better, I've actually said I'm gonna redo it, and now I'm scared to redo it because I know how bad it hurts. But I like that workout a lot. I hate, dude. The first workout was the burpees. Dude, I hate it. I hate a burpee
Me too.
workout.
I
I
hated that
hate
workout.
burpees. I'm slow on them. I'm not good at them, and I don't want to be good at them. I don't want to work at them.
Uh-huh.
I hate them. And then the last workout was kind of cool. It was interesting, but yeah, that second workout to me was like, it is a cool one. The separator, I think.
I think so too. Like that first workout. Sorry, I'm looking off camera. I have my those little. I guess when you get judged, you have to sign the little thingy. So I'm
Oh
looking at
yeah, the
those
slip.
the slip and gosh, those burpees. I hate burpees. I think everybody. I
Yeah,
don't know if everybody does, but I think at least I hate them. But I got like halfway. Like what was it? It was 18. What was it? It was burpees and then
by threes.
yeah, and you increase by three every round. I got to 18, I think, of like had the second movement in. I was like, and
Hmm.
then the time clock, like it was one of those workouts. I'm like, I tried not to look at the clock, so I know if I look at the clock, it's gonna be worse. So
Hmm.
I got to my judge, thankfully, who was judging me. We knew each other from a while back, so she asked me, she goes, "Hey," because I think it was a 20-minute cap, 15 or 20-minute cap, I can't remember. She goes, "Hey, do you want me to tell you every 5 minutes?" Like whenever every 5 minute mark, I'm like, yeah, sure, just let me know. I'm doing scaled anyway, so just let me know.
Hmm.
And I start to go, okay, three, two, one, go. I start doing threes, no problem, right? Sixes, no problem. And I got to nine, halfway through nine, and that's when I felt the monkey caught on, if so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're in deep trouble here. And I'm like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
her name is Taviana. I'm like, I call her Tavy for short. I'm like, Tavy, when's the 5 minute mark in? Because I don't want to, I was dead set and I look at the clock. She goes, I don't want to tell you the time. Do you want to know the time? I'm like, not really. Just tell me when it's 5 minutes in. And I finished my round of nine, and I looked at the clock and like 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in. I'm like, should have done that. Here we go. Start
Yeah.
downhill from here, guys. So I was just completely dead. And then I got to 18, like halfway through 18. It's like, and the time went down. I'm like, I just fell to the floor. That's the first time I actually like fell like laid there. I'm like, this is how it ends, guys. I'll see y'all, see y'all later.
That's how it ends. Yeah, dude, I felt the exact same. I remember looking up and it was like seven something. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm only halfway in and I feel like this already.
Yeah, it was a slow burn. I would say it's a slow burn, but it was really a fast burn, I think, at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh
then
yeah. Well, the
like,
burn came on fast and then it lasted forever.
yeah, that's a perfect way. It sucked in the best way possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the second workout was it wasn't too bad. The third one I think was fun. Had we more time, had we more, if we had more time, if that makes sense. Because like
Yeah.
I got to I got 7 calories in my second row, and I was like, man, I was like, I did a lot better than I expected, but at the same time, I'm dead. Like I had to really grind to get there, you know?
Yeah. 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 I like that last one. It was man, well, I'm sorry, I'm thinking now. I was trying to my only thing was I was like, I'd like to make the semifinals because well, I know I can, you know. And I think at that last before that last workout, I was like actually pretty close to not making it. So I was like, I did that workout the first time, and and it was horrible. It was like 1450 or something. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's probably a good enough score, you know. And then Sunday morning, I checked the leaderboard, and my score was like 3000th or something in the world, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's gonna take me out of it. And so I had to redo it, and redid it and got like 16 or something. I don't know. So I'm glad I redid it. But gosh, dude, that workout it was like any open workout is always so painful. You know, it always has such a different. I don't know if it's because of the intensity you give it or if it's just the style it's made, but it always hurts different.
yeah. Every time it feels like every time like I get the notification on YouTube that Dave Castro is like going live and doing all that stuff.
Mm,
I just like initially get nervous, and I'm like that nervous quickly goes away with okay, like mentally prepare for the worst, but expect the best kind of feeling. I'm like,
yeah,
what's going to happen? Is it if there's no strength like barbell movements or anything like that, then I'm going to be screwed. So I'm like,
yeah,
and then I'll be gonna get any of that during this year's open workout. So I'm like, all straight cardio guys, like all strict workout guys. I'm like, here we go.
yeah,
Time to burn it. But the fact that you redid it, I'm like, I tell myself I want to redo workouts, like open workouts. The last 2 years I did, and I'm like, never did it. I get scared. I bail. Obviously, I'm not trying to compete, obviously, like that, but I'm just doing it for fun. But the first workout this year reminded me a lot of the first workout from last year, in a way.
mm.
That makes sense with the
Oh
because it
yeah,
was the I think it was lunge, it was burpees and
dumbbell
straight.
snatch.
Yeah, snatches. There you go. We had to do 21,
Yeah,
21, 21, all that. It reminded me of
hmm
that workout too, but I don't know if that's just coincidence or not.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it did me too. It was just, but this one was double the length,
Yeah, double
time domain.
for sure. It was just crazy. Definitely not doing that one. But for you, like I talk about kind of like for the one of the open workouts. I believe it was the first one. They had it at CrossFit Mayhem, the gym, y'all's gym. So
Yeah.
like what was the preparation? I want to talk to you for a little bit about this real quick. I'm sorry to keep you time. If you need to get somewhere. I'm
Oh
sorry.
no, you're good, dude. I got plenty of time.
Cool. It's cool. So, for you, like for y'all, like the media side, how how was that preparing for that? Because like for as a media person, like production person, that's what I was looking at. I'm like, geez, there's a lot of cool stuff that they like looking into. I'm like, that's pretty cool. But on y'all's end, how was that like preparing? Like, did you have any hand in that, or was that all Scott? Like, what was that? What was that like?
Yeah. Well, so for the actual CrossFit broadcasts and all their stuff, they have their own. They brought in their own guys, their own broadcast team, everything. So we literally did nothing for that. Um, and then the only thing we were doing was like we want to do our normal stuff, which we do like a tips and tricks video.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and well, we didn't do a full workout Rich video because he did it live, on CrossFit or on for CrossFit on YouTube.
Your channel,
So
yeah.
for us, like really, it wasn't that crazy. Um, we always put like an expectation to get stuff out really fast. Like that's because we feel like, oh, sorry, because we always that's what we want to do is we want to be quick with everything we get out, so we can be the first for people to see. Um, and it being our gym, we were like, well, it's even more of a flex if like we get it out and everything happened here. So for my end, I was doing behind the scenes stuff for the video we were going to put out Monday. And so we all followed an athlete, and I was with Rich, and then like Frank was with um, Austin, and Austin was with someone else, and Scott was with Haley. So we were all filming those guys all day long, from morning until then. So like everybody had a hand in it. And then as soon as it was over, Rich, shook hands, kissed babies, and then we went to the athlete facility and we filmed our tips and tricks video. And then as soon as we got that film, we gave it to Josh Gunkler. He's the guy on our media team, and he put that video out. And I think the video was out by like 4 or 4:30, which was really
Interesting.
cool because like the open announcement ended at like 3. Um, so I mean, yeah, it's and the open is always crazy like that. And but that being here was, I mean, yeah, it was a little more difficult just because we had to kind of work around, obviously, like having that show go on, but seeing CrossFit come in and bringing the broadcast, and they had some people there filming too is pretty cool for like us to be working like with them, and yeah, I mean, it's cool.
Sounds really cool. The fact that y'all have like the strategize, okay, like you go with Rich, hey, you go with Haley, like all these different people, like, and y'all had it out like quick because that's a quick turn. Like the fact that like to film something and like turn
Yeah,
around and like edit something is not really the easiest thing to do sometimes. So you never know
yeah,
if you may have like you know like something may go wrong with your audio or video or whatever. Just something may go like it feels like there's always that always like at least one thing go wrong, right? But the fact that you
yeah,
already had that quick turn on because you wanted it first and y'all got it out there
yeah.
that quick. Actually, I watched the video before I did it. So the way I did it, they announced it on Thursday, I believe, and I
Mm,
did it that Friday night for Friday Night Lights at our gym. So I was watching y'all. I was watching another. So I was watching y'all first initially. So I was like, okay, how is it going to be broken down? How's this going to like what to expect, kind of thing. So y'all, I relied on y'all quite a bit. So the fact y'all had that turnaround was really crazy in a good way.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool. So was that much more like obviously yes, but the question I'm about to ask, like how was it different? And if so, how different was it from doing something like that to do something for like the Mayhem Classic?
Oh, dude, the classic was way more hands-on. Because classic is all on us. Like it was Mayhem Media. Well, the broadcast, of course, we brought in a broadcast company. They take care of all that. But like, and like I give it to like the other guy, Scott and Austin, because Scott would turn around like the melts and stuff for the broadcast truck for them to put on their live stream for the next day. And Austin was just on top of getting out stuff on social media super quick, like event winners and like recaps from the day. And then at nighttime, like we'd film all day, like we'd all film. But behind the scenes was me and Scott and Frank, Josh, and Austin were all on floor coverage, and Scott would kind of float too. He would get some behind the scenes stuff, but then he'd also go back and film on the floor coverage of people doing the workouts.
Mm.
And then what was difficult, which I mean, it's how it is at every event. So it's like it's just what we do. But let's we film that all day, and then when the event's over, we all get together in our room, we all dump the footage, and then we all just start editing. So we put the video the next day, and like I think I missed the first day. My grandmother actually had passed away on
I hear that,
a
man. I'm
few days
sorry.
before that. Yeah, that's okay, man. It happens. Um, but she passed away, and we had a funeral on Friday, so I missed that first day. But those boys, they filmed Friday, stayed up, till I think like 2 or 3 in the morning, put out the video, and they were there the next morning, Saturday morning, and then I came Saturday, same thing, worked all day, and then we were there till 3:30 in the morning editing the video. And then, right back there at 7:30 the next morning, Sunday. Dude, it's hard. It's really hard, but it's like I said, it's just like to us, it's so cool that we can put out the content first, and we want to be the first ones putting anything out. And it being our own event, like I feel like we really had to do that, and like um, just really own it. And I think we did that. We did a really good job of it. And so it was like the classic was really, really hands on. And and it's still not even over. Like we're like Scott's making a Road to the Games video of the classic. Like today we were doing
Uh,
interviews of Rich, Rory, and Angelo for that video, that long form content. So it's cool to know that like in the moment we're filming and the behind the scenes stuff is just kind of like the cherry on top. Like it's just kind of like yeah, that's the stuff people see right away, and we want to be all the behind the scenes stuff, the athletes like in the warmth area and like kind of what they're doing, what they're going through, where their heads are at. So that's cool that we can put that out, but really like the bread and butter is like the stuff Scott's gonna make from it, like that long form video.
mhm.
And then that might even play into later on, like at the games, like because we're filming everybody back there, like everybody, not just Mayhem athletes, but like everybody.
Yeah. I remember watching the first video of like the behind the scenes video y'all made for the Mayhem Classic. I remember watching it. I'm like, how quick of a turnaround y'all like they were able to put like the competition floor. Like I think it was Ritz in the video who said like we just had our last class here like at I think 5:30 or 6:30 it was. Like now there's a
Hmm.
competition floor here and that had saw the video footage of everybody like the time lapse of everybody putting all the floor down. I'm like, this is so cool. Then the next like not before you know it, Nick Matthews like talking about him like talk about competing. I'm like, holy crap, this is a real deal now. Like we're actually at this.
Yeah,
Like here we go. Like I'm
yeah,
ready to watch it. And
yeah,
like this
dude.
is
Oh,
big.
and we had a lot of volunteers. A lot of people from the gym volunteered, and yeah, and it's cool. Like it went up quick, but it also came down really quick. I know so on Sunday, we didn't put out that video on Monday, we put it on Tuesday, kind of give ourselves a break.
Mhm.
But anyways, Sunday it ends, and we go back there. We're dumping footage, and we're like getting out like a recap reel for the day, like podium reel. And then I like leave the office. This is maybe like 2 hours later, and I look out there, and dude, like the floor is all up, everything's up, the vendors are all packed away. The only thing out there still is like some of like the metal cross beams, like the rig, like they're taking it
Okay.
apart. And
Jeez.
and then the next day I came in on Monday, I came in, it's all gone. Everything is gone. They got classes going like normal. Is
So
like
crazy, man.
it's so crazy. It's crazy that from like you said, from Friday at 5 to Monday a.m. It's like it's a normal gym, but you wouldn't even know really a competition
Yeah.
went on in there like that.
Yeah, just watching that stuff. Like I'm a big behind the scenes person, obviously, being like a production guy in general. So I was always interested in stuff like that. Watching those videos, I'm like, they all posted and created. I'm like, how like easily like there was like a sequence of like things that happening. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, we had class Friday, like Friday evening, Saturday, like we or Friday evening, I guess if you will. We started like putting everything up, and y'all captured all that stuff. I'm like, that's cool. Like y'all went around and like talk about it, and then like I don't know, I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff. I don't know why it's always
Yeah.
happened. So
Yeah,
just
I
to
mean
be
it's
able to,
cool. Yeah, I
well,
think
yeah,
everybody likes that, right?
yeah, for sure. But yeah, because there's a couple more questions. Don't head out. I don't want to take up all your night, but
Very
I
good,
was gonna
man.
say before we head out, like what's I guess kind of the end of the podcast, if you will. If there's anything else you want to talk about, let's go for it. But if there like what do you oh my gosh, words. What do you like for you, like for Ben Davidson, what do you expect to do like when it's all said and done? Like what do you hope to do in the world of CrossFit? Like as far as like what do you want to be known as in the CrossFit space?
Man, that's a big
Kind of
question.
kind of a loaded question. Sorry, it's for the end of podcast.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, you're good. It's man, I don't know, dude. I don't know right away. I
I
think what I'm doing, I think what I've done so far is pretty much would answer that question. I want to, I like my place like within being here. Like I feel like I'm in, actually, I think I'm really blessed that I got to be when I was born in Cookeville. Like I was born and raised here, and the fact that like I get to work here and be a part of this. We do so much, like especially like we do so much stuff that people don't know we do. Um, like the first thing comes into mind is like is Mayhem mission. It's something like we don't really promote a whole lot. We don't talk about it, but it's still there. Like we're still doing it, and like like the values here is faith, family, fitness, service, and it's like that's I feel like that's so many people's value. Like so many people's values. But how often do you see a business come out and say like, "Hey, that's our values"? And while I can't say that was always my values, it definitely is now, and it like mine might have been a little screwed up in that order, when I was a little screwed up, but now that's my values. So I think like if people looked at me and they were like yeah, that was his values too, then I've done it. Like the fact, like I said, I get to work here for a place who believes in that and they push that. I think it's so cool. Like I was telling you, the Mayhem Mission stuff, like they do so much stuff. We do so many. We have a lot of events in the gym, that raises money for um, like I'm looking at this post on the wall. It's for like to raise awareness and there's a what's it called? Rescue Freedom. It's for to fight child sex trafficking.
Oh
Like to
yeah,
me, that's
that's so cool.
that's huge, right? And then we
Yeah,
we have another one, Mayhem for Water, where we raise money for funds to build wells in the remote places of the world where they don't have access to clean water. And I've been on these mission trips yet, but like I talked to Brian, like he goes to Togo, Africa, like every year. Um,
yeah,
and like just those things alone, it's so cool to know that like that's going on behind the scenes. It's stuff that like we're not bragging about it, but it's happening. A lot of people donate money to that to Mayhem Mission, and like it goes to even like the local things um like another example is like I don't know, my mom might not want me to broadcast this, I don't know, but my mom lost her job a few years ago, and there was like a few weeks in between her trying to find a new job, and it was like really tough, and like bills were behind, and like I didn't even mention anything, so I don't know really how they found out, but like they came to me like, hey, we want to help your mom, in this time of need, and they just cut her a paycheck.
oh wow,
Like how cool is that they just
so
did that?
awesome,
Yeah, and it's like, and it's just to help,
so
and
cool.
it's just like, hey, what's the bills? Let us help you with that, and like just so, little stuff like that. But they're not just doing it for her; they're doing it for so many people. So it's like, even at a local level, like they'll just go in, help out. Like we build, there's like an event here where they build beds, and I talked to Revo, he's kind of in charge of that stuff, and he said that even before they build the beds, they know like, oh hey, we need like the beds are already accounted for, like oh we got to build 70 beds today, and every single bed that they're going to build already has a home before it's built. Like they know where it's going
So
to go. Yeah, stuff like that. It's
yeah,
so
stuff like that.
cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, and I mean, so again, like the values and like they really do like here, like that really is in play and it's happening.
yeah,
Um, and I think that's cool. And like, that question, I could go on all day long probably about that question you asked, but I don't know. To me, the fact that, like I said, the fact I was born here in Cookeville and now I work for this place, and like some days it's like it's the easiest job in the world, some days it's the hardest job in the world, but it's like, I don't know. It's just so cool that I can live out like the values that I personally believe are right and they're real, and I get to work in a place where they believe it within CrossFit, and like the fact that we are we are the number one CrossFit program, right? Like Mayhem Athlete is, I
yeah,
think, I'm pretty sure.
great, yeah,
Like
for
we're
sure.
the most well known, like we've got the best product on Sugar Watt. It's like so just I don't know, just everything we do is
A lot of
like
great
what
things
I
on this.
believe in, and it's cool. I get to work for that, and at the same time, you know, they're successful, which makes me successful. So
Hmm.
yeah, I hope I answered that. I hope I answered that good.
Oh, it was perfect, man. Perfect. You got more than I expected. So that's real perfect. Y'all doing a lot of great things. Like I said, you mentioned you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of great things, dude. Just it's motivational. It's really motivating to hear that stuff because like you said, just for example, it's one little tip at like you said like building like you said you being from Cookeville, like you literally being from Cookeville to like and helping the universe, literally from a town in Tennessee to the universe. You're literally y'all are helping so many people around the world, and it's so cool to hear that. And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, looking at it like that, Mayhem Athlete, like we're just promoting, we're really like it's the competitor track, like people are competing, but really at the end of the day, everybody's doing it for the same reason. Like
yeah,
whether they want to compete, like sure, a lot of guys want to compete, but the amount of people that compete is so small. It's such a small percentage. So really like it's so cool that everybody's doing it. Like they're working out at the end of the
yeah,
day. Like that's what we're doing. We're selling fitness to people who want to make their lives better, who want to be healthier, who want
for
to
sure.
look better, be stronger, like whatever it be.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
that's
matter.
cool.
Doesn't matter if you're a competitor like Ben Davidson or a weekend warrior or just something like that, or
Oh
just
yeah.
someone who just wants to go work out, do something. So it's like we got something. There's something for everybody in the world of CrossFit, and I love it because like people like get so scared. I think not scared is the right word, but like maybe get nervous initially, who like don't know
Hmm.
what CrossFit is, and they okay, like just doing this, like pick up a PVC pipe and let's go through the barbell movements, or hey, let's like a 200-meter jog. Let's do this. Let's there's so many great things that you can do. That's from doing something small to do something, being known as a four-time CrossFit Games champion. It's just something for
Yeah,
everybody. That's what I love about CrossFit, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. You mentioned the competitor thing. It's like, maybe at one point I really thought that that could happen for me, but like I said, there's such a small amount of people who compete. It's like, I'm very realistic, like
Mhm.
very realistic. I'm not going to be make it to CrossFit Games as an individual. I'm sure not going to win the games, but the fact that there are so many people, in the world that we tailor to, and they do fitness, they do programming. It's like I like to think they probably think the same. It's like even if they miss the mark, they don't get to compete. At the end of the day, like they're still getting to work out. They still like the fact you even come to a gym and do and like work out. It's like there's some people who don't even have the opportunity. There's so many people who don't
Yeah,
have access to a gym, or like there are even people who are like disabled who can't work out. In a
yeah,
similar fashion. It's like
that's
at
awesome.
the end of the day, yeah, at the end of the day, that's what's cool. That's what's really cool about it, I think.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Like I said, we keep going on and on about how great CrossFit is. Like, so it's like we kind of mentioned, like, this is like going as an individual. So is team something that you're set on now, like going into the CrossFit Games as a team?
No, man. Well, so CrossFit at the start of the season they came out with the pairs division. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, I feel like it
Okay.
kind of went under the radar a little bit, but it's just same sex pairs. And when I saw that right away, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do because,
Oh, cool.
dude, I went team in 22 with Mayhem Justice, and the training for team was like the funnest thing in the world. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's I mean, it's like when you're in a class and you're working out with other people, it's like that's fun. That's fun to be doing the same thing with people. But then what I learned being on a team, what's even more fun is when you're paired up with someone similar to your level, or maybe not as fit, or maybe if you're fitter than even a little bit. It's really fun just like to be doing the synchro stuff, to be
Yeah.
like, like Seth, like if we're doing a toe to bar and like squatting workouts, like I know, oh, I can, I'm gonna bury him on the squats, but he's gonna bury me on a toe to
Yeah.
bar. I don't know. It's just the training for it was so fun. So when I saw the pairs, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And so
Heck
I hit
yeah.
up Dre, and like literally the day they announced, I hit up Dre and I was like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this pairs. And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. So that's what we're kind of looking, that's what we're like going for now. And we'll be there, and it's in October. I think it's in Indiana. I don't remember which part of Indiana, but we'll be there and we're going to throw down.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
but in terms of being like on teams, like the 4-person teams, I said when I did team, it was like I said, it was the funnest thing ever, and I would do it every single year if I could. But it turns into like also I only want to be on a team with people that I want. Like it's kind of selfish, but like there's only a few people I
Yeah.
would go on a team with. It'd
Yeah.
be that team again, or like Dre, and like or maybe like some other people. Like if I maybe, but it's like it's also difficult because your schedules have to line up, and when everybody's got different jobs, and like it's super hard to get
Sure.
together and train, and it turns into like a weekend thing. It turns into like Saturday 2 sessions and a Sunday session, and then you kind of depending on your teammates to like be able to be there, and like maybe they have to miss work or stuff. um so from that aspect it was really hard. That's one of the reasons I don't do pursue team anymore. um and it was at the CrossFit Games, which was I work typically at the CrossFit Games for Mayhem Media, so it's like
Yeah.
it's also kind of put a stress on the rest of the media team that I felt bad about. But now that it's different, it's cool. Like Paris isn't even at the games and all in New York, so and it's at a completely different time of year, so it's not going to conflict with anything. And then like that's also a good time. I can actually get good training in. One of the things that we run into also is like the games are in August,
Mhm.
so like when I went to the games in 22, it's like you're like you needed to be training hard like June and July. Um, and it was really tough because I was also like I have to show up for work every day.
Mhm.
And then not on top of all that too, like I've got two daughters. I've got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. But at the time I didn't have I had a she was 3. At that time I had one kid, right? But still it's like So I've got to go home and be dad, and I gotta have
Mhm.
enough energy to do that and be a good husband. And whether I was or was not, probably my wife would have to tell you, but I probably wasn't because I was always tired or missing weekends or like, is a lot of stress on her. So all those things we said, it's like it's really hard to do that for me. That's something I'd love to do. I wish I could do it, but it's really not in the cards, I think.
Oh,
But this Perry's Vision is cool. So I really look forward to that. And then there's other stuff too. I do like to be competitive because I feel like I'm good at it, and I am competitive. So I can scratch that itch like with other things. Like last year, I went to 806 Classic. Like that
oh
was so
yeah.
cool to me. Like that was like probably top three competition experiences I've ever had. Just like getting to come show up and throw down with Seth. I think that was so fun. Um,
That was pretty cool.
so like stuff like that, it's still like a good outlet, and also local competitions are so much easier to get into. You don't
Yeah.
you don't have to do
Yeah.
the open and then quarterfinals and semifinals and then
All
to
the
try
stuff.
to make it to the games. You can pay a one-time registration fee of $100 and you can go have the time of your life for a day. It's like that's so
Oh,
cool to me.
yeah. They are pretty fun. Like this as a person watching the 806 Classic when you and Seth came, like I was listen. That's when I first really got to watch y'all in person, obviously live, obviously, but just getting to hear more about y'all like stuff as a fan. I'm like the spectator. I'm like, man, these guys are really really cool. Like just watching y'all, like these guys are wearing Vans and out there and just like killing it. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like I've never seen anybody work out in Vans before and just killing it and having the time of their lives. I'm like, I'm wearing
Yeah.
I'm wearing Reeboks and I'm still like dying over here. And in my class, I killed that die that morning. Like these guys are just doing it for fun. I'm like, dang, that's pretty cool just to watch
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so that's his thing, Vans, man. And it's and gosh, I used to be the type of guy that would like before any like workout, like I'd have my knee sleeves on, I would
Mhm.
have my belt on, I'd have my sweat wraps on, I'd have my wrist wraps on. If I need an elbow sleeve, I'd have an elbow sleeve on. If I
Got it
needed
all.
lifters, I'd have lifters on. But now I was like, I'll go out in the gym and like if we're going to heavy back squat, like I'll just wear nothing but my
Yeah.
clothes and my barefoot shoes. It's like it doesn't sometimes it just doesn't even you don't need all that. It's like people think you do, but you just
Yeah.
and like but Seth working on bands, that's wild.
Yeah. I don't
He
think I
needs
could
a he
ever.
needs a band sponsorship, bad.
Yeah. He needs to get on that. Vans need to get on that as soon as possible. Get him his own pair of Van CrossFit shoes or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the stock is only going up for him, so
Well, it is for you too, man. And before you get out of here, do you have any advice for anybody out there for CrossFit, who people are going to get into CrossFit or get in the media or maybe both? Do you have any advice for
mm,
them before you head
yeah, I
out?
think I do. I think I do have good advice. Um oh, gosh. In terms of media, I would say knowing what I know now and dude, I'm a YouTube junkie. Like I like watching Ryan Trahan on YouTube. I don't know if you know who
Oh
that
yeah,
is.
that sounds
Dude, he's my
familiar.
favorite YouTuber. Dude, this guy has millions and millions. I think he has 30 million subscribers.
Wow.
He gets like an average of like 10 million views per video, and he'll make a whole video of him on his iPhone, like
Yeah.
duplicating like Dwayne the Rock Johnson's morning routine. And when I see stuff like that, and I see other stuff too, I'm like, it doesn't have to be complicated. So that'd be my advice for media. Like, if you want to do something, you don't have to go get a new camera. You don't have to go get, you know, have a Sony FX6 with a 24 to 70. Like, you can literally
Mhm.
pick up your phone, make whatever content you want, and put it out there. And then like if it's good, like and you'll get better and you'll learn and like eventually like get yourself some good gear if you really need to. But like it doesn't even take that if you don't get started doing something like that. Or like this podcast right now, like where you're running a whole podcast and it's cool. It's a great podcast. I've seen your stuff online. Like
Oh,
you've
thank
got a
you.
good thing going, a good theme. But like we're talking like on a webcam. Like I'm
Mhm.
talking to you on my webcam. I don't have like a Sennheiser microphone in front of me and again a Sony FX3 as my camera. It's just the webcam, and you're making it work, and it's awesome, and it's cool, and you're
Yeah.
putting the content out there. So that'd be my advice for that. And then for CrossFit, like if somebody wants to get into like, are you being like competitive CrossFit or just CrossFit in general?
Either way, like, maybe who wants to hear, maybe this thing scared who are too scared to make that jump to get into it, or
Yeah.
they're rocking that fence a little bit, and like, should I go in? Should I not? Or maybe to that competitor or that athlete who wants to do their first competition who are too scared to do it. It could be either one of those or both if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like for anybody just get in the gym. So my dad, I really want him to get in the gym. This is actually a good example. He won't come in because he's so intimidated. He thinks like because he smokes and he thinks like, oh, I gotta get ready, I gotta get fit so I can go there. And I'm trying to tell him like, no, like the hardest thing to do is to drive here and to walk in the door, you know. But once you do that and like you go, you sign up for your class and you get in your class, it's like everybody is in their own world. It's like no one's looking at you. No one wants to see like, oh, is Ben moving right, or is he squatting? You know, is he squatting right? You know, like no one's looking at you, laughing, pointing. Is what I'm trying to say. It's like everybody's on the same page, doing the same thing, and all you got to do is show up. The hardest thing is to drive. Is to drive to the gym. That's the hardest thing. Like
Yeah.
even now, like there's some days like not even from an intimidation factor. It's like there's days I don't want to work out. I know that like as soon as I get a rower out, I start cranking on the rower for 3 minutes. I have a totally different mindset. I'm ready to work out. I want to work out. I'm here. I'm warmed up. Now I can do it. You know,
I'm the
so
same
that's just the
way.
biggest thing. It's like just get in there, just start. That's all you gotta do. And then, like for competitiveness, I'd say like I told you earlier, and I mean it's in a positive way, but be realistic. You know, like I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys come in here. They'll come to Cookeville, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be the next Rich Froning," and it's like, okay, but they're 30 years old. They have a 150 pound power clean, you know, and they've got 4 kids. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, buddy, that's probably not going to happen for you. You know, that's what I want to say. And so it's like I'll just say be realistic, like you know, set realistic goals,
That goals, yeah.
and with that, like I said with the local comp, find something to train for. And I can't take credit for that one. That's Rich's advice. Find something to train for because that's going to drive you and that's going to get you your butt in the gym every day. That's going to have you hitting, you know, what you need to and the things you don't want to, like, you know, like burpees in the open. I hate burpees in the open, but when I know the open's coming, I do 2 burpee workouts a week for 6 weeks before it, you know, something like that. So I'd say find something to train for and go for it, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's some great
I
advice,
think it's
man.
the best thing I could offer. Yeah.
That's
And
pretty
hey,
cool. It's
I've been I've been doing it for 10 years now. So that's what I know being in it for 10 years. Maybe in 10 more years you can ask me, I'll have something different, but that's all I've got for now.
yeah, I mean, hearing that, I mean, just be realistic because like I've had I coach at my gym come up to me. It's like, she's like, okay, so what can we help you with? I mean, not in a bad way, but it's like when I first started, I'm like at that gym, I'm like, I sounded weird, but I was like, I don't know, but someone's telling me I want to do a skill competition. I don't have to win. I just want to compete in it. Just like that's its goal. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what can I do to start preparing for that goal? It's like, okay, I need to be better at this. I need to work towards this. Like just stuff in general. That's what I said. I was like, I don't know why I just said it. Just like if I without thinking it, I need to speak it into existence. Maybe
Mhm.
realistically it may not happen, but if I do one scale comp, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's all that's it. That's what it is. Just I don't know. You gotta find something to train for, find something to
Yeah.
drive you and push you, something that's gonna because I mean you hear it all the time, it's kind of cliche, but um like develop or what is it, motivation leaves, discipline stays or something. It's
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
like
Yeah.
like you can get on like somebody can get on YouTube right now and type in um 2014 CrossFit Games highlights and it's gonna like make them want to run through a wall. You know, like yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. So they'll go to the gym. They'll train super hard for like you know a week, and then when they're beat up, like the next week rolls around, it's like I don't know. You know, start getting lazy, you start getting a habit of not going, missing sessions, and then it's been like 3 days for you since you've gone. It's like what? It's like if you know, like for example, I'm doing a fresh go since this summer, so like I have something to train for this summer. It's like yeah, that's gonna get my butt in the gym every day. That's gonna get me, you know, doing the things I don't want to do and like working hard at it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just always the best thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
And then
That's
obviously
go ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead. I'm
saying
sorry.
then obviously other than that is like when someone like my dad, for example, like I want him to come here so bad. He wants it. He wants to come here. But he's so intimidated. And I'm like, yes, it is intimidating. It's like it is intimidating. You come in here, you see a big gym, you see dudes walking around with their shirt off, like that can be intimidating for sure. But the thing is, those are the same people who are going to be so supportive. Like when he walks in, they're going to like Luke, for example. Like he's if Luke saw my dad walk in here, I know he'd be the first guy to go up to him and talk to him, be like, bro, this is where you need to be. Like this is the place for you. Like you know, and he'd be so helpful. He'd be an open book. So it's like I think people just get so intimidated by stuff like that, and it's like no. Like it's the
Yeah.
opposite. Like you're more welcome here than I am. Like almost. It's like that's just how it feels.
Yeah, it's just that once you get over that feeling of intimidation, not really intimidation, but I guess that feeling of like, oh my God, dude, what's going to happen? I guess that more that feeling of like what's going to happen, uncertainty, I guess, of like, I guess getting over that feeling. Like, I don't know. Once you get over that feeling, like you actually start working out, like you said, get on a rower, start moving. Like you never regret a day. Like you never regret a workout, like going to a workout, if
Yeah,
that
that's
makes sense.
right.
So it's like
That's right.
I never regretted going to a workout after. It's like, yeah, I may not want to go, but like there's days I'm like, oh, I'm so glad. Like I may be dead on the floor, but like at the same time, I'm glad I came because there's days I'm like, I don't want to do this. Right? You're cherry picking workouts, you're doing this, but that doesn't help anything in the long run. Like you'll find your weaknesses and get over it, dude. Like that's why I talk to myself all the time. Like, quit doing this. You need to work better at this. So go to that workout.
Yeah, dude, that's so good. I like that. It's so right. I'll say this and then we can go. The first time I ever walked into Mayhem, um, or one of the first times, I remember I walked in, and you know who Ted Starkweather is?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe
So
so.
he competed in 2018 on Independence. But anyways, I remember I walked in the gym, and he's pretty cut guy, and he walks by with his shirt off, and he's got six pack ab, like he's got veins on his arms, and like I remember I was looking at him, I was like, oh my gosh, that guy has his shirt off in the gym because this is all like culture. There's such a culture shock too when you walk across the gym when you see
Yeah.
people with their shirts off running around, because you don't see that like you go to YMCA.
No.
And so like I saw him, I saw like a bunch of other guys, their shirts off, and I was intimidated. I was like, man, I don't think this is the place for me. And it's like, of
Yeah.
course, that's not the case once you get it. But even I was like, as an 18-year-old, like walking in, it's like I was, and like I said, I only lifted, so I had decent strength numbers. Even when I walked in here, I was like, no, I can't be here. I'm not good enough for this place. But like the sooner you start that, the sooner you come in, you realize like, oh, that's not the case.
Yeah. It's just I remember the first time he said just that culture of everybody having their shirt off. I was like, honestly, I'm a bigger guy, so there's no way you catch me with my shirt off ever. I guess that insecurity,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you're watching everybody like,
I don't take my shirt off at all. Like, if I
yeah,
do, it's because like it's just too wet to save or like I'm about to go home. Like that's
yeah.
yeah.
So like to be able to like watch that, I'm like, holy crap! And then I don't know, like, but it said it's part of that culture, so I get it. So just like
Yeah.
that intimidating factor, I guess, if you will, not in a
Yeah.
bad way. But yeah. But hey,
Yeah.
Ben,
But also like Texas is hot. So
yeah,
people pop the top. It's like here, I started in the summer, so it was like or not summer. Um I started in December, but anyways, you come in and like there's no typically they're not running AC, so it is hot in here. Super hot room, super hot. Like it's just a metal building. So like yeah, I mean yeah. I mean you walk in, everybody's got their shirt off, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like not what I expected. But in reality, like once you figure it out, oh, they have their shirt off because they're going 100% in 5 minutes. Like the shirts get drenched and they just fall off. Like yeah, it makes sense now.
yeah, it's definitely it can get hot in Texas. I bet it does in Tennessee sometimes too. I bet quite a bit. So
Not like Texas.
not like Texas.
No, not like Texas.
No, man. I don't know. I've never been to Tennessee, so maybe one of these days I'll get to work out there. I work out in Tennessee, so who knows? But
Yeah, dude.
yeah. So hey, Ben, thank you so much for your time, dude. It's been an honor. I feel like we've been talking at least for an hour now, so I don't want to take your
Yeah, I
time.
think so. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry we went so long.
Nigga, no, don't apologize. It's not you, it's me. I keep looking at my clock. I'm like, what am I watching? I'm like, Ben's got a million and one other things to do right now than talk to me.
Oh
So
no, dude.
so I'm like, I don't
Not
want
that
to keep
busy.
you too long. So, but hey, thank you again. Honestly, thank you again. Like I can't. I'll be saying that a million times, but
Yeah, no, dude.
everybody,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. So everybody, so Ben, thank you again, and everybody, thank you for watching. Go check out Mayhem's YouTube page. Go follow them on social media everywhere. Go follow Ben. Obviously, he's got a great story. Hopefully next year he won't have Rich as a friend anymore in the open anymore. So we'll see how that goes next.
Mhm.
Everybody, see ya. Peace. Ben, see you later, man.
Thank you.